The year is 2025, and for millions of homeowners across America, the terrifying echoes of the past are growing louder. A chill runs down the spine as market indicators once dismissed as minor corrections now mirrored the chilling patterns that preceded the catastrophic housing meltdown of 2008. This isn't just a dip. It's a potential unraveling, threatening to wipe out tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in home equity, leaving behind a trail of financial devastation. Markets that saw explosive speculative growth, fueled by frenzied bidding wars and loose money, are now precariously perched on the brink. Developers built at a furious pace, convinced the boom would never end. But today, the toxic cocktail of stubbornly high mortgage rates, rampant overvaluation, crushing affordability crises, a severe glut of unsold homes, and an undeniable speculative hangover is creating a landscape terrifyingly similar to that fateful year. The very pillars that propped up these dream markets are now showing deep structural cracks. Which cities, the former darlings of the housing boom, are now staring down the barrel of a 2008-style housing meltdown? Where are the fault lines most pronounced, threatening to give way to a wave of foreclosures, panic selling, and unprecedented price collapses? We're diving deep into the grim data, identifying the most fragile markets, mirroring the disaster of a decade and a half ago. Get ready for a stark, unsettling truth. Today, Discover the Nation unveils top 10 cities facing a 2008-style housing meltdown in 2025. If you own a home here or are considering buying, this is your crucial urgent warning. Number 10, Denver, Colorado. The Mile High City, renowned for its breathtaking mountain views, vibrant outdoor culture, and booming tech scene, became a magnet for remote workers and young professionals. Its housing market soared, reflecting immense desirability. But in 2025, Denver's elevated housing market is flashing critical warning signs, and if economic conditions worsen, it could face a severe 2008-style collapse, with home values potentially dropping by 20 to 25%. Denver's growth was overwhelmingly driven by its thriving tech industry, outdoor lifestyle appeal, and a continuous influx of high-paying residents. This led to substantial price appreciation, over 50% since 2020, making it one of the most expensive markets in the interior US. If you're finding this deep dive into housing trends crucial for your financial understanding, please gently hit that subscribe button to Discover the Nation. It helps us bring you more vital insights like this. Now, the danger? Now, a significant economic downturn will directly impact Denver's tech sector, leading to widespread layoffs and hiring freezes, drastically curtailing the influx of buyers and eroding the purchasing power of existing homeowners. The alarming risk for Denver lies in its already stretched affordability and the prevalence of a buyer pool with high debt-to-income ratios. With current 7% mortgage rates, affordability is already a critical concern. Job losses in a recession would immediately put immense pressure on homeowners, potentially forcing an overwhelming increase in inventory as residents can no longer afford payments. Inventory has already surged, up 38% year over year, and homes are sitting longer, average 75 days. In a true meltdown scenario, this surplus would overwhelm reduced demand, leading to widespread price reductions and a painful erosion of equity, reminiscent of the widespread financial devastation seen in 2008. Number 9, Phoenix, Arizona. Once without a doubt one of the absolute hottest real estate markets in all of America, this desert metropolis became a magnet for sunseekers, remote workers, and aggressive real estate investors. Builders in turn unleashed a relentless torrent of new construction across the sprawling valley. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, Phoenix is poised for a significant 2008-style reckoning, with home values potentially collapsing by 20 to 25%, making it notably vulnerable to repeating its past pain. Phoenix's explosive growth was fueled by unparalleled immigration, the allure of warmer weather, and a seemingly endless appetite for new homes and investment properties. However, a national recession would directly impact this growth. Job losses in sensitive sectors would curtail migration. More importantly, high interest rates coupled with an economic downturn would trigger a massive pullback from out-of-state investors who heavily drove the market, leading to widespread liquidation of assets. If you're gaining crucial insights into these vulnerable markets, remember to gently subscribe to Discover the Nation. Your support powers our in-depth investigations. Now the danger. A significant economic downturn would directly impact Phoenix's tech sector, leading to widespread layoffs and hiring freezes, drastically curtailing the influx of buyers and eroding the purchasing power of existing homeowners. The alarming risk for Phoenix lies in its already stretched affordability and the prevalence of a buyer pool with high debt-to-income ratios. With current 7% mortgage rates, affordability is already a critical concern. Job losses in a recession would immediately put immense pressure on homeowners, potentially forcing an overwhelming increase in inventory as residents can no longer afford payments. Inventory has already surged, up 38% year over year, and homes are sitting longer, average 75 days. In a true meltdown scenario, this surplus would overwhelm reduced demand, leading to widespread price reductions and a painful erosion of equity reminiscent of the widespread financial devastation seen in 2008. Thwaite, Idaho. This picturesque city, nestled in the Treasure Valley, became the undisputed poster child for the pandemic-era housing boom, drawing an unprecedented influx of remote workers seeking affordability and a high quality of life. Home prices here skyrocketed and builders responded with a frenzy of new construction. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, Boise's housing market could face a brutal downturn with values potentially falling by 18 to 22% as its core drivers falter simultaneously. Boise's explosive growth was almost entirely fueled by external migration, primarily tech workers fleeing more expensive coastal cities drawn by its then relative affordability. Developers capitalized on this by initiating massive new subdivisions. However, a national recession would accelerate the ongoing shift in remote work policies, trigger widespread tech layoffs, and drastically slow down or even reverse that vital in-migration. Boise's underlying local economy is less diversified than larger metros, making it highly vulnerable to absorbing significant job losses if its primary growth driver falters. If you're getting crucial insights into these vulnerable markets, please gently tap that subscribe button to Discover the Nation. Your support helps us continue these in-depth investigations. The danger for Boise lies in its extreme overvaluation from the boom and its heavy reliance on a now uncertain external buyer pool. With current 7% mortgage rates already making prices challenging, a recession would quickly put immense pressure on homeowners. New home inventory has already exploded by over 50% year over year. In a true meltdown scenario, this massive surplus would overwhelm drastically reduced demand, leading to widespread foreclosures, distressed sales, and a painful erosion of equity reminiscent of the devastation felt in 2008. Number 7, Miami, Florida. This glittering, iconic global city, a magnet for luxury tourism, international investment, and vibrant culture, experienced an unparalleled housing boom. Its radiant sunshine seemed to promise immunity from economic woe. But in 2025, if the economic pressures mount, Miami's housing market faces an acute risk of a severe 2008-style collapse, with values potentially falling by 18 to 22% as its core drivers falter simultaneously. Miami's explosive growth was fueled by its booming tourism and hospitality sectors, a continuous influx of international capital seeking safe haven, and an appealing lifestyle. Builders responded by pouring concrete for luxury condos and high-end homes at a furious pace. If you're gaining valuable perspective on these vulnerable markets, please gently hit that subscribe button to Discover the Nation. Your support powers our in-depth investigations. Now the alarming scenario. A significant economic downturn would directly the tourism industry, leading to widespread job losses in hospitality. International investment, highly sensitive to global economic uncertainty, could rapidly retreat, pulling massive capital out of the market. The danger for Miami is compounded by Florida's escalating and crippling property insurance crisis, which already adds thousands to home ownership costs. In a deep recession, this burden would become unbearable for many, triggering defaults. The sheer volume of new luxury inventory built during the boom would sit empty as demand for high-end second homes or investment properties plummets. Mortgage rates at 7% would make luxury purchases untenable for most buyers. Miami's market, built on a foundation of tourism and external investment, is uniquely susceptible to cuts in discretionary spending and global capital flows. A meltdown could trigger widespread price corrections, mass liquidations, and devastating equity losses. Number 6, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The city of brotherly love, a historic metropolis that has undergone significant revitalization in recent years, attracting new residents and seeing its property values. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, Philadelphia's housing market faces an acute risk of a severe 2008-style meltdown, with values potentially falling by 15 to 20%, fueled by affordability strains and economic slowdown. Philadelphia's housing market has seen growth driven by urban renewal, a strong healthcare and education sector, and its relatively lower cost compared to New York or DC. However, a national recession would directly impact local job markets in service, manufacturing, and even its stable sectors, leading to job losses and reduced incomes. This would be particularly devastating for a city where many homeowners are already managing high costs relative to their wages. The median household income of roughly $58,000 often struggles with property values that climbed significantly during the recent boom. In a recession, as job security falters, these relentless fixed costs could become unbearable, triggering a wave of defaults and foreclosures. Inventory, while manageable now, would surge dramatically in a downturn as distressed properties hit the market. If you're finding this crucial information about market risks, please gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. It really helps us continue this important work. The combination of economic strain, a high cost of living for its income levels, and the burdens of older homes positions Philadelphia for a painful, potentially 2008-level meltdown in 2025, impacting countless homeowners across its diverse neighborhoods. Number 5, Bend, Oregon. This picturesque city, nestled in the stunning Pacific Northwest, became an absolute poster child for the pandemic-era housing boom, drawing an unprecedented influx of remote workers and lifestyle migrants seeking outdoor adventure and a vibrant community. Home prices here skyrocketed, and builders responded with a frenzy of new construction. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, Bend's housing market could face a brutal 2008-style collapse, with values potentially plummeting by 22–28%, making it notably susceptible to a severe meltdown. Bend's explosive growth was almost entirely fueled by external migration, primarily high-earning individuals fleeing more expensive coastal cities drawn by its unique appeal, and then relative affordability. Developers capitalized on this by initiating massive new subdivisions. However, a national recession would accelerate the ongoing shift in remote work policies, trigger widespread tech layoffs, and drastically slow down or even reverse that vital immigration. Bend's local economy, while growing, is less diversified than larger metros, making it highly vulnerable to absorbing significant job losses if its primary growth driver falters. If you're finding this crucial information for understanding market risks, please gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. Your support helps us continue these in-depth investigations. The danger for Bend lies in its extreme overvaluation from the boom and its heavy reliance on a now uncertain external buyer pool. With current 7% mortgage rates already making prices challenging, a recession would quickly put immense pressure on homeowners. New home inventory has already surged by over 40% year over year. In a true meltdown scenario, this massive surplus would overwhelm drastically reduced demand, leading to widespread foreclosures, distressed sales, and a painful erosion of equity reminiscent of the devastation felt in 2008. Ben's market, built on a foundation of rapid immigration and speculative growth, is uniquely exposed to an economic downturn threatening severe equity losses and a prolonged recovery. Number 4, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once a titan of industry, this resilient Rust Belt city has undergone a remarkable renaissance, transforming into a hub for healthcare, education, and advanced technology. This revitalization has drawn new residents and spurred real estate growth. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, Pittsburgh's housing market could face a brutal 2008-style collapse, threatening to unravel years of progress with values potentially plummeting by 18% to 23%. Pittsburgh's resurgence has been largely driven by its robust eds and med sector. TMC, Carnegie Mellon University, University of Pittsburgh, a growing tech presence and a renewed urban core. This has attracted investment and improved housing values. However, a national recession could expose vulnerabilities in these very sectors. The city's median home price around $250,000. While affordable, could see swift and severe corrections if employment falters. If you're finding this deep dive into housing trends crucial for your financial understanding, please gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. It helps us bring you more vital insights like this. Furthermore, many homeowners in Pittsburgh's older neighborhoods might face increased maintenance costs on aging properties during a downturn, potentially adding to financial distress. While its historical resilience is strong, the specific dynamics of its revitalized economy make Pittsburgh vulnerable to a painful 2008-esque repricing in 2025 if a recession takes hold. Number 3, Austin, Texas, the Silicon Hills of the South. A city synonymous with hypergrowth, tech innovation, and a seemingly endless influx of new residents. Austin was without question America's hottest real estate market for years, driving property values to dizzying, unsustainable heights. But in 2025, if the US economy enters a recession, that feverish expansion could turn into an equally brutal contraction, leading to a monumental 2008-style collapse with home values potentially plummeting by 30 to 35% or even more. Austin's unprecedented boom was the poster child of pandemic-era remote worker migration and massive tech corporate expansions. Developers eager to cash in on what seemed like limitless demand initiated an almost unimaginable pace of new construction. From high-rise condos downtown to sprawling master-planned communities, they built at a furious speculative pace, pushing tens of thousands of new units onto the market. If you're finding this crucial information for understanding market risks, please remember to gently subscribe to Discover the Nation. We're dedicated to uncovering these vital truths. High property taxes, often exceeding $8,000 annually, would further burden homeowners facing job insecurity or reduced income. Austin's market, built on a foundation of speculative tech growth, is uniquely exposed to a severe economic downturn, threatening severe equity losses and a prolonged 2008-esque recovery. Number 2, Los Angeles, California. The sprawling, dazzling epicenter of entertainment, culture, and ambition. A city where dreams are made, and often where homeownership dreams could be utterly crushed again for millions. LA's sheer scale, diverse economy, and prior role as a massive epicenter of the 2008 crisis make it extraordinarily vulnerable to a monumental 2008-style meltdown in 2025, with home values potentially collapsing by a devastating 25 to 35%. Los Angeles's housing market has seen staggering price appreciation driven by a diverse job market and immense global appeal. However, a national recession would directly impact its key industries: entertainment, production halts, layoffs, tourism, reduced travel, retail, and service sectors. Mass job losses would ripple across the vast metro, swiftly impacting homeowners' ability to meet their already sky-high mortgage payments. The average LA home price, while varying widely by neighborhood, remains astronomically high, creating an extreme affordability crisis for its massive population. Homeowners are already stretched by property taxes averaging 1.25% and escalating insurance premiums for wildfire and earthquake risk. In a true meltdown scenario, job insecurity coupled with these immense fixed costs would trigger a massive wave of defaults and distressed sales. The resulting flood of inventory would overwhelm drastically reduced demand, leading to widespread price reductions across its vast landscape. Los Angeles, a historical ground zero for housing devastation, is once again poised for a brutal 2008-level reckoning if a recession takes hold. Number 1. Las Vegas, Nevada. Topping our list is the U.S. city most vulnerable to a 2008-style housing meltdown if a recession hits in 2025. Las Vegas, Nevada, the shimmering oasis in the desert built on glitz, glamour, and an ever-present dream of quick riches, experienced an unparalleled housing boom. Its fortunes have always been intertwined with tourism, hospitality, and speculation. But in 2025, if the U.S. economy enters a recession, Las Vegas's housing market could face a truly monumental catastrophic collapse, with values plummeting by 35% to 40%. Making it the most volatile and exposed in the country, a chilling echo of its past as a ground zero for the 2008 crisis. Las Vegas's housing market is highly susceptible to extreme boom and bust cycles, fueled by tourism, hospitality, and rampant real estate speculation. A national recession would directly the tourism and convention industries, leading to massive job losses for the city's vast service workforce. Discretionary spending cuts would empty hotel rooms and casinos, sending devastating ripple effects throughout the local economy. This direct impact on employment would swiftly translate into widespread defaults, foreclosures, and distressed sales, overwhelming the market. If you're finding this crucial information about market vulnerability, please gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. It really helps us continue this important work. New home inventory has already surged dramatically, up 60% year over year. In a recession, this vast supply, combined with dwindling demand, would lead to aggressive price cuts not seen since the last meltdown. Las Vegas's market, built on the fragile foundations of discretionary spending and speculative investment, is uniquely vulnerable to an economic downturn threatening devastating equity losses and a prolonged 2008-level recovery. Final thought. This has been a stark, sobering look at the 2025 U.S. housing market, exposing the immense vulnerabilities facing some of the nation's fastest-growing cities if a recession takes hold. The ambition of builders, fueled by years of unprecedented demand, has collided head-on with economic realities, high interest rates, and a recalibration of migration patterns. The consequences are profound for developers. It's a lesson in over-speculation leading to financial pressure and desperate measures. For local economies, it signals a slowdown in a key sector, potentially leading to job losses and reduced consumer confidence. And for millions of homeowners in these exposed markets, it highlights a crucial risk. The very asset they've invested in could see significant value erosion, impacting their financial security for years to come, just as it did in 2008. What's next for these vulnerable markets? Only time will tell if a recession will truly test their foundations or if they can find a way to adapt. For now, the warning signs are clear and vigilance is paramount. And remember, bro, if you found this information about market trends and vulnerabilities helpful, gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. Your support helps us bring you more crucial insights and help you make smart decisions.